There are variations in behavior. Because remember, what we're talking about here is a personality disorder. The thing is, what you got to remember is that we all have a personality, right? So when it's disordered, what does that look like? Okay, because we've all got it. And this is what makes it really difficult to detect. Yes, it's true. Personality disorders is an umbrella term for many different types of variations for the disorder. Okay, so if we look at the DSM, it's really challenging. Most personality disorders are diagnosed in like literally one or two variations. So like, for example, a lot of people have got borderline personality disorder. However, if you really look at it, it overlaps so many other personality disorders like psychopathy, narcissism, emotionally unstable personality disorder. Which one is it? Which one really is it? And can clinicians get it right these days? And is there such a thing as overt and covert narcissism? Or is this just kind of like street psychology out there? So this is what I really wanted to look at, is like really unpack this and look at the differences, because like I said, personality disorder is really difficult to diagnose. Like there's misdiagnosis of it. Like for example, there's overlaps, for example, in bipolar. There's overlaps in schizophrenia. So how do we really know which one is which? And this is what we're going to be looking at. But my friends, just really quickly before we get into the video, just want to mention that I do go live on this channel every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. UK time. We are now in season 3. So I really hope that you have had a chance to have a look at what's going on in the lives. If you have a question, or there is something that's on your mind, or there is a pressing question that you want the answer to, come on over, because honestly, I most probably will be answering your question. I'd love to see you there, guys. Come on over. Okay, so look, narcissism is associated with overt grandiose behavior. Think of someone who is constantly bragging, someone who is like attention seeking, doing anything. I mean, like it's any type of thing, like they're seeking attention and displaying this sense of superiority. I'm thinking, yeah, I am the Don. Okay, this is easy. Like this is easy to spot, right? Because then that is explicit, all right? Overt narcissism. Like you can definitely tell. But there is another more insidious form of implicit, covert narcissism, okay, which makes things a little bit more dangerous, makes things a little bit more difficult to spot. Because these lot, all right, they know what they're doing, okay, and that makes it difficult to spot. But this is what I want to look at, these two types. Okay, so let's look at explicit narcissism, that's overt narcissism. And it's obvious, these are outward expressions of self-importance and a desire to be admired, right? That's what feeds their ego, all right? That's what makes them feel good. They're easy to spot because they seek attention and validation outwardly, basically at the expense of others. So they're more obvious, they're more confident, assertive, and often really charismatic, drawing people in with their larger-than-life personalities. So, for example, you got a female narcissist who is kind of overt. I'm stereotyping here. My friends, I'm stereotyping just to give you an example. So this will be a woman who cares a lot about her appearance, will be wearing tight-fitted clothes. She'll make sure that she looks immaculate with her perfect makeup, maybe even a few Botox or fillers here and there. Maybe she will have a BBL. Maybe she'll have bigger breasts, for example. Again, like I said, I'm just stereotyping here just to give you the idea of what I'm talking about. This will be the woman that has a lot of admirers around her. She'll have men following her around. This will be feeding her ego. She's going to feel self-important. She's going to feel good about herself. This is what we would call overt narcissism. The other one is the implicit narcissism. And I feel like this one is a lot harder to spot, or it takes more time to be able to notice that actually this is what is happening. Okay, so this is known as covert narcissism. It is more subtle and more hidden. And covert narcissists still have a strong sense of entitlement and self-focus. Please don't think that they are not getting validation, because they are. They are, but this is the difference. They're getting it in different ways. There's different things that motivate this type of behavior. They express these traits in a more passive, aggressive, or a more manipulative way. They often come across as shy, humble, or self-depreciating, victim mentality, masking their underlying need for admiration and control. These are the ones that are going to say that they are the victim. These are the kind of ones that are going to say that their ex is so abusive, so narcissistic, that they had such a bad time being with them, that they can't cope. They'll almost make you feel sorry for them because, again, they're getting your attention. Guys, they're getting your attention. But what they're doing is they're pulling on your heartstrings, and they're getting this more in a negative way, but they're still getting your attention. They're still getting their needs met. So that is the difference. And ultimately, the difference between, a huge difference is you've got to look at what is the motivation. You know, not all narcissists are going to be out there, you know, displaying themselves. But again, what the similarities that are here is that, okay, they are thriving on admiration. Even if they're painting themselves as the victim, there's still admiration. There's still you know, giving them attention, feeling sorry for them. Okay, they're not going to be as confident as the overt ones. They might be more reserved. And I feel like this is where you've got to use your discernment. You've got to understand within these types of behaviors, things are done to next level. It's not just this underlying bits and pieces. This is done to next level, added onto other behaviors. And this is what you have to ultimately look out for, is you've got to look at this as an amalgamation. Okay, not things isolated on their own. It's an amalgamation. You will see the dysfunction in these behaviors. So I want to look at the behavioral differences. All right. So overt narcissists are likely to dominate conversations. All right. Boast about their achievements and seek out leadership roles. A lot of these types of individuals are in high standing positions in companies. Okay. Maybe even in society. And so they thrive on this admiration and they thrive on the envy of others. Oh yeah. They love it. So if someone is envying them, oh my God, they love it. On the other hand, when you've got a covert narcissist, they love to play the victim. They use guilt tripping. They manipulate others, okay, into behaving a certain way, or to put them in a corner, like back them into a corner to behave in a certain way. And this gets their needs met without drawing attention to themselves. Even though it's underhand, it is underplayed, they're still getting their needs met. And another key difference in all of this is emotional regulation. So overt narcissists, what they do is they externalize their feelings, showing anger or frustration openly, and when they don't get what they want. And what happens with covert narcissists, they're more likely to internalize their emotions, appearing calm on the surface whilst harboring deep resentment or envy internally. So it's about how they process it, and it's about how they display it. I don't know which one you would think is worse, the overt or covert narcissist in terms of their emotional regulation. Put it in the description box, because I personally believe that the covert narcissist would be more dangerous, because with the overt narcissist, they're kind of expressing it, so they're releasing it, so they don't harbor this resentment. Whereas a narcissist whether a covert narcissist is suppressing this, and it's stewing deep inside of them, where the outbursts can become more dangerous and more debilitating and make it more challenging in the long run. But either way, like both ways of being able to express your maladaptive behaviors makes it very difficult to be in a relationship with someone like that, or actually even have them in your family. Like, it's so hard. It's so damaging. You know, by understanding the differences between the implicit and explicit narcissism, it is crucial for recognizing when you're dealing with these types of behaviors. I know that they're not always obvious. Yeah, the overt one, maybe more obvious and easier to spot. So then you can adapt your behaviors when dealing with somebody like that. But when it's covert, it makes it really difficult, because you're not going to spot that straight away. And you know, you can meet overt and covert narcissists in a variety of settings, whether it's in your personal or your professional life. Being able to spot these traits, being able to spot these behaviors, okay, is really important for you, because this is how you're going to be able to adapt your behavior when dealing with somebody like this. All right. Either way, it makes it damaging because you don't know that person's true intentions. Okay, and it's not easily recognized when they are either way. It's important for you to understand, and I really do hope that this video has helped you to kind of make sense of these types of behaviors. You know, I remember, just give you a quick example so that it kind of helps. I remember like a few years ago, I had a client and she was doing her PhD, and what happened, the covert narcissist ended up being her professor who was supervising her project. And this person, the professor, what he would do is constantly make up excuses for the student to see the narcissist. And it was the student that came to me to kind of say, like, is this normal, Anushka? Like, is this what happens? And I said to her, like, no, you know, when you have a supervisor supervising your PhD, like, you arrange to meet up at certain points, or, you know, it's like, it's more of a meeting. It's not like having to go out for a drink or for dinner. And that's certainly what was happening for her. There were boundaries that were crossed, and she didn't know how to handle this, because I know it's very confusing. Like, the professor was in a position of power, but he abused that because he used her to basically get her attention. And I didn't necessarily think he wanted a relationship with her, but it was just about spending time with her and getting her energy. And in the end, she got tired of this. She did actually have a partner, but in the end, she got tired of this and was able to go. Actually, what happened, I think he invited himself for Easter to, you know, to be with her and her family whilst also being with her partner. Like, all of this is just such a strange situation, but in the end she was able to let go. But the professor, kept messaging and emailing her asking to meet up. She ended up getting a new professor. But can you see, like, this, you know, the power interplay here, and the boundaries had been crossed. So like I'm saying, this can happen in any walk of life, in any aspect. So this is where I really hope this video helps you to kind of understand that this is an issue. And then when you notice it's important to seek professional advice, please know that I do offer one-to-one consultations. So please see the description box below for more details. And guys, I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please do give it a thumbs up, and please share it to someone who you feel that it might help. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and do press the bell button, notifications every time a new video will be published. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.